Alright, so we're going to do a walk around on the B2 here. We got it back in March of 2019. We were looking to get a trail truck. Couldn't find any clean ones up here in Michigan. So we expanded our search and found one down in Kentucky, and this is what we found. Brought it up, and when we first got it, it had a rough country 4-inch lift and 235 75 15 tires. Now look at it. So anyways, we drove it that way for a little bit. I had to fix some oil leaks, and I had to put a PCM in a distributor, and it wasn't running quite right. But once I did that, it ran okay. And after a couple months and doing a little log climbs at a buddy's house, decided, yeah, we need more lift. So we decided to go all out and went with the Duff Stage 3 5.5 inch long arm TDB kit. We also put a 2-inch body lift on it at the same time, put 33-inch tires on it. Stayed that way for a while, and then the opportunity arose to do a solid axle swap. Alright, so before I get into the solid axle swap, let's walk to the front, and we get a lot of questions on what bumper do you have on this? Here's the front bumper. I got the bumper from one place. We'll have the link in the description. And then the can't remember what Stinger bar, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is from another company, and we'll have a link in the description for that too. Smittybilt X2O, 10,000 pound.
Winch.
Yeah, winch. It's got a wireless Bluetooth controller, so you don't have any wires if you don't want them. It works good. Factor 55. The lights on there are just less expensive ones off of Amazon. I figured if they do the job, they do the job, and if I break them, they're not expensive to fix, to replace. Alright, so this past winter's upgrades included a stroke 302. So it's stroked to 347 inches right now. Using GT40 upper and lower off of an Explorer front engine truss, advanced adapters, shorty headers, Ron Francis engine wiring. Instead of using a Mustang harness that's 30 years old, I wanted a new harness. So let's take a look. Alright, so hood's open, here we go. Like I was saying, that's a Explorer upper and lower intake. I have a spacer in between. I have spacers on the valve covers to clear the roller rockers. It's hard to see the front engine dress, but at least the alternator and the tensioner and the bracket is off the Explorer. You see a Saginaw power steering pump over there. That is from Wild Horses. Saginaw pump gives you a little bit more pressure and a little bit more volume for better steering. Definitely needed that because for the hydraulic steering assist ram that's on here. That was a recent upgrade. I added louvers to the hood to help the heat escape. I had an electric fan on there. I wasn't happy with the temperature it would run when I was at the sand dunes, so I just put the belt driven fan back on, and I'm going to give that a try. This is just a makeshift to keep your fingers from hitting the fan. I need to work and see if I can make a shroud if I need one. Engine harness, instead of using a old 30-year-old Mustang one and piecing that together, which I was going to do, we went with a Ron Francis brand new wiring harness, and that was so much easier. There's only maybe 6 wires you actually have to hook into the factory Bronco harness. It's still speed density, makes tuning easy. I'm using micro squirt and tuner analyzer for the program to tune it. Got a auxiliary transcooler here, plus we have one with a fan underneath the chassis. We have a power steering cooler. I added a electric vacuum pump to help boost the vacuum for the brake booster. I was having some issues where the engine doesn't make as much vacuum as that booster really needs. Optimum is 18 and I'm only getting maybe 15 from the engine. It's not a really hot cam in here. The operating range is only from 12 to 4,800. I built it for crawling. The C4 transmission, I had Dynamic build me a custom reverse manual valve body along with their 2.9 planetary set. So my crawl ratio in 4-low first gear is roughly 60-1, whereas stock was only about, it was 28 or 30-1. So huge difference there. This thing just creeps. So tires, we went with BFG KM3s. They're 37 12.5 by 17s. They're on Method 704 titanium bead grip technology rims. If you don't know what bead grip technology is, basically the outer bead is serrated, so when the bead sits, it's like a 30% more retaining force before the bead will roll off. And we run these tires as low as 8 psi and haven't had an issue yet, so hopefully we don't. Moving on, I got Fox 2.0 coils, 12-inch in the front, 14-inch in the rear. I've got hard bump stops right now. I haven't put the hydraulic ones in yet. I have them, just haven't put it in. And limit straps. The hydraulic steering ram that was recently added. I needed that because when you're crawling and you have the front axle locked and you need to turn and the wheels are jammed on a rock, I couldn't turn whatsoever. So that helped out big time. A couple weeks ago, I put the rear anti-sway on by TK1 Racing. That went on fairly simple. I used 2-inch clamps on my lower 4-link bars because of the location where I had to put the torsion bar. I couldn't get it back far enough where it wouldn't interfere with the upper links. So, but it works. I'm working, like I said, I gotta get the front one in so they work in conjunction with each other. We've got TMR coil towers Frenched into the frame, and then an RCI custom fuel cell and a skid plate I made for that. Alright, so let's get back to the solid axle swap. So about a year ago, after I had enough of the TDB and I had the opportunity to pick up a solid axle that was already done up, pretty much almost bolt in, because we used the Duff track bar bracket and bolted it in, relocated the brackets for the long arms for the solid axle swap, also Duff. Rode it that way for about a year, and then during the winter, that's when we did our powertrain swap. And when I did that, we also took the body off, boxed in the frame, did a coil over conversion, hoops in the front with the 14-inch in the rear, 12 in the front, and then we did the TRW towers for the coilovers in the rear. So now I've got fully adjustable suspension. I've got solid bump stops right now. I have pneumatic ones, I have to put them on still. Got my limit straps in the front. Everything there is good except for putting the anti-sway bar, which I'm working on, trying to get that configured in there. The real estate's kind of tight. They're both equipped with air lockers. The front one is a Yukon air locker, zip locker, and 488 gears. The 8.8 Explorer rear axle, I would have matched it with a Yukon, but Yukon doesn't make one for an 8.8, so I had to go with the air locker that is available, ARB. We haven't talked about the rock sliders I've got. And everybody would tell me I have them angled the wrong way. They're upside down. No, I angle them that way on purpose because I'm short. Anyways, This was originally the trail gear kit. I think it was their 58-inch kit, pretty affordable kit. Some welding required. All you got to do is adapt the length of your mounting legs and either weld them to the frame or get the trail gear mounting bracket kit, which is what I opted for because I wanted to be able to unbolt them and bolt them and not have them solidly welded just in case I needed to take them off for whatever reason. Alright, so this is the VO control switch for the panel that's underneath the hood. So that is the compressor for the air lockers. Front, rear. So we're going to turn those off because it's so loud. These are all my lights. These are the cube lights on the bumper. That's the center bar. And these are the A-pillar ones. The water one right now, I don't have it connected since I put the mechanical cooling fan back on, but this one is the transmission cooling fan underneath the chassis. And this control panel, basically a USB connection to the relay box underneath the hood. So here is our Atoto 8-inch touchscreen radio. You got Bluetooth. I don't know what this guy is. Oh, that must be the radio. Huh. That's the
Bluetooth.
That's the Bluetooth, right? And then this is an app I downloaded which will actually show longitude, latitude, attitude, GPS accuracy, and GPS speed since my Atlas doesn't have a speedo cable. The other gauges, the radio doesn't have the sensors inside for those to work, but it's alright. And then it has a forward-facing camera. And it has a reverse camera. Now I just manually turned on the reverse camera. If we go back to the home screen and we put the shifter in reverse, it automatically goes to the rear camera. And then put it back in park, and it goes automatically to the front camera. We have Onyx Off-Road downloaded. Wait for it to load. Anyways. It's got Google Maps. Basically, it's an Android-based phone or radio. We can come over here. You can access YouTube.
Using small amounts of throttle, the driver is being gentle on his vehicle, and just as important, he's being considerate of the surface on which he is traveling. Drop.
It's funny.
Here's everything else. CarLink, gallery. You can actually hook up another camera to this through HD DVR. That's a USB connection that's down there, and you can use it like a dash cam. That's the equalizer that I was gonna get at. Time correction, bass boost. I mean, this radio's got pretty much everything.